Hello everyone, my name is Justin Aguila, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Ocala National Forest. I'm giving a brief history of its founding, what it was like back in the day, and what it's like today. Enjoy the pictures, and hold on for the ride. For those of you who do not know, Ocala National Forest is located right here in Ocala, Florida. Before we can start our adventure into the modern day form of the National Forest, we have to start at its very roots. Those roots start right here with this man, Theodore Roosevelt, 26th President of the United States. Theodore Roosevelt was a great conservationist, dead set on preserving American wildlife and nature. On the National Park Service's website's biography of Roosevelt, they wrote, Theodore Roosevelt first came to the Badlands in September of 1883. A sportsman hunter all his life, Roosevelt sought a chance to hunt the big game of North America before they disappeared. Although his writings depict numerous hunting trips and successful kills, they are laced with lament for the loss of species and habitat. His legislation and time in office led to many national parks being established, including the Ocala National Forest, and luckily for tourists, made it what it was today. The Ocala Evening Star, a newspaper that was published in Ocala between the years 1895 to 1943, documented the founding of the forest. Per the Ocala Evening Star that was published on December 7, 1908, to Florida goes the distinction of getting the first national forest east of the Mississippi. President Roosevelt has just signed a proclamation setting aside and naming the Ocala National Forest in Marion County, and another proclamation creating the Dakota National Forest in Billings County. At the time, the National Forest was 201,480 acres, which pales in comparison to what it is today. The National Forest's area of protection grew quickly. The Ocala Evening Star published a newspaper on November 26, 1918. It reported that the National Forest was 350,000 acres, and a local representative was in the process of convincing the federal government to make the forest a great game preserve as well. Less than a year later, in a newspaper published by the Ocala Evening Star on April 17, 1919, the same representative asked for about 75,000 acres of the Ocala National Forest to be protected from hunting and fishing. When the park was first founded, activities tourists could do included hunting, fishing, and recreational activities. Avid adventurers could go swimming in Juniper Springs, hunt game in the forest's vast acreage, or go for a challenging hike through the thick Florida scrub. One thing hikers back then and today go to the forest for is its diverse wildlife. Throughout the years, however, fire has destroyed and reshaped most of the forest and its inhabitants. When I visited the park, I learned of the history of the Florida scrub jay and how it became endangered. In the Journal of Wildlife Management, Kathleen talks about fire's effects on the scrub jay's survival, combined with high predation rates, in her entry factors affecting Florida scrub jay nest survival on Ocala National Forest, Florida. Fire destroyed the bird's habitat. Although fire is part of nature's course in the forest, the scrub jay did not fare well against it. Due to human involvement, fire no longer severely affects the scrub jay's survival. The Florida scrub jay is no longer endangered, but unfortunately, it's on the threatened species list. Ecotourism has taken its toll on the forest over the years. Bin Wan did a study of nature-based tourism and recreation along the Florida National Scenic Trail, which extends through the Ocala National Forest. He found increased visitation comes with negative social, economic, and environmental impacts. In fact, some areas that have fragile ecosystems are experiencing high recreation pressure, which means some natural environments are not able to hold their own against the tourists' adverse effects and are suffering catastrophically. The question raised is whether or not forests such as Ocala are able to sustain ecotourism or do what they are established to do, protect the land. When I visited the forest, I found trash everywhere, which is certainly not good for the environment or the animals that could possibly eat the discarded trash, as seen in the last 3 displayed pictures I took on my trip. So, what is the Ocala National Forest like today? Well, it extends 430,447 acres, more than double the size it was at its founding. However, most of the activities are no longer allowed like they were back in the day. Tourists can still enjoy swimming in Juniper Springs, go camping in some parts, or go for adventures on numerous trails like the Florida Scenic Trail or the Yearling Trail, the trail I personally visited and enjoyed. I recommend anyone hike the Yearling Trail looking for something interesting, such as the Giant Sinkhole, which features a really cool rope swing, or for some history with its numerous heritage sites. But be warned, black bears do like to occasionally swing by and say hi. Thank you very much for sticking with me throughout this video. I would like to thank the following people and places for the information and insight.